It's time to look at the papers now. The stories making headlines in Nigerian newspapers. And with me in the studio is Obani Akinwale. Good morning. It's nice to see you.
Good morning.
Great. And we have communication specialist Victor Hai joining me on Skype. Victor, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. Nice to see you. Okay. Let's start from the Blueprint newspaper now. Blueprint says DG Progressives Governors Forum to APC, party tilting towards PDP's impunity. All right, and says that political bullying now our major feature. Seeks review of APC constitution membership. Your comment on Edo recycles, you know, all of that certainly is from the Senate spokesperson there. All right, from there, let's go to Daily Trust newspaper now. Daily Trust newspaper says Lawan Shekarau, 8 other senators sponsored no bill in 1 year. It's shameful. It's civil society organizations are saying this. I'm working on one, former governor of Kano State is saying, and the Senate president keeps silent on this. Okay, and the Daily Trust gave a breakdown of the number of senators who have sponsored bills, and the highest, the top 7 senators, and the senator with the highest bill sponsored so far in the last 1 year is Senator Yahaya Abdullahi from Kebbi State, who has sponsored about 30 bills so far. Okay, all right, that's the Daily Trust. From Daily Trust, let's go to Leadership newspaper. 2023, Governor Uzodinma backs Mamandaura, says the merit should drive political process. Zoning died since 1999. Ex-ACF scribe. That's the Area Consultative Forum. All right, from the Leadership, let's go to News Direct. News Direct says mixed reactions trail CBN's exchange rate unification to 380 naira to $1. Okay. From there, let's go to the Daily Times. Daily Times says manufacturers yet to access CBN's 1 trillion naira intervention loan. All right, and then the national economy is saying that surging, national economy says surging metals prices, brighten outlook for Nigeria's earnings, and silver up by 69% and gold 28%. Sector can compete favorably with oil. Okay, gradually Nigeria is looking into solid minerals there, and that has been the issue around diversification of the economy. That's that. And then from there, let's go to Business AM, which is the last one we're looking at right now. Business AM says COVID-19 to force federal government's hand to change economic policy direction. All right, towards a full-blown deregulation and properly targeted social investment. All right, that's those are the issues on the front page this morning. Now, there's something else I'd like us to look at this morning. It's just less than about, or roughly about a month to the elections in Edo State, the governorship election in Edo State, and reports we're hearing from there, it looks like it is preparing for war one way or the other between the 2 major political parties. Besides the 2, there are so many other political parties as well who are interested in the contest for the governorship. And this is part of what we'll be talking about in the next few minutes. I have with me Obani Akinwale in the studio, as well as Victor Hai on Skype. But Victor, let me start with you on Skype. I know you've been following the developments in Edo State, accusations, counter-accusations, letters upon letters, and now we hear all the sides accusing each other of either corruption or fraud and things like that. But basically, on the overview, do we have our democracy, are we maturing democratically from what you are seeing so far?
What is happening today is a sad testament of the realities of our democracy today. At this stage, one would have expected that this election would have gone peacefully. But, I mean, right from the primaries, if you saw what happened in APC, where a godfather, so to say, tried to impose his will and forced the sitting governor out, you see that this is simply not, it's simply not on at all. It forebodes a very bad signal for our democracy. And drums of war that are being beat as well. We've seen videos of people, with thugs and criminals, and encouraging them to go out there and create problems. Now, at this stage of our democracy, this is really sad. And this is happening in Edo State, if you like, call it the heartbeat of the nation, so to say. And what bothers me is the fact that at the federal level, there's silence. This shouldn't be happening at all. If it goes on, if this happens in Edo and it goes on successfully, then one can imagine what would happen in 2023 when all the states, it's just like a conflagration. So this is certainly not a good sign for us at all.
Okay. All right. Let me bring it back to Nii in the studio. Nii, elections in Edo State is always it takes a different character and a different dimension from many other states, either in the South or even in the country. Now, there are a lot of people are calling Adams Oshiomhole a godfather. But is that the situation, really?
Sometimes I laugh when people begin to say the godfather in Edo want to see. We should not take away the fact that democracy is a game of number. You recall vividly that the scenario that is playing out in Edo nearly played out in Ondo as well. But Governor Akeredolu was able to maneuver his way. They still have two parallel party structure. The governor has been the helm of affairs for over 3 years. And if the governor is that popular, if the governor is a technocrat, if the governor understands all democratic tenets, I am sure in 3 years you are able to install your stooge as ward chairman, local government chairman, and also at the state level. Now, if Oshiomhole as the party chairman in Abuja still determines who becomes what in Edo, it is not fault of his. It is fault of the policies and the democracy tenet of the governor. And something that
why would it depend on the policies of the governor? The point there is that constitutionally, the governor is the one who has the authority to do anything within the state. The national chairman does not have any constitutional duty in the state.
I absolutely agree with you, but don't forget that when Edo State were having what they call Edo People's Movement, Ondo State was having what they call the Unity Forum. Okay. Now, how is it that Akeredolu was able to navigate, even without having the support of the deputy governor, to win the ticket of APC? So you ask yourself, is it not the same political party? Why is it that Akeredolu was able to be in charge of what runs for the primary and secondary? And something always amazes when I see people carrying placard, Edo is not Lagos. But Edo is not Lagos, but you still come to Lagos to make your posters. Edo is not Lagos, you want to do press briefing, you call Lagos pressmen. Edo is not Lagos, you call Lagos this. So why don't you face the reality on ground is the fact that your deputy is a grassroots person. Oshiomhole is not a contestant in this election. Oshiomhole is not the governor of Edo State. Oshiomhole is not an aspirant on the ballot paper. Why should it be the issue? If it happens to be the advisor to the governor, I would rather tell the governor to concentrate more, to tell Edo Indigenes what he has done. But again, you ask yourself, we are saying that Oshiomhole is lauding. How did the governor himself become a candidate of another party in less than 3 months? So if you are talking about ideology, if you are talking about sincerity, if you are talking about democracy, will it be fair for people that have been in that party for 8 years, for 16 years, to lose their ticket just 2 months to the election? So sometimes...
But when the governor complained of undemocratic practices within the political party, in fact, on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper this morning, you will see a member of the APC complaining of the activities of his own party.
What is the party constitution says? The party will remain supreme. There was a problem in Edo 3 years ago. So all of us will always look at it and say, about 14 months ago. The party hierarchy called the governor that reconcile with your ex-governor. The party hierarchy called the governor that, governor, talk to these honorable members. Said, look at what happened in Bauchi State. What happened in Bauchi is what happened in Edo State. But how was the PDP governor able to resolve the crisis in Bauchi Parliament to have a united parliament? Is that Oshiomhole's fault? So what I'm saying in essence is that I am not massaging Oshiomhole's ego. What I'm saying is that you cannot blame Oshiomhole of playing political godfather without blaming the governor himself, but for being a totalitarian. How do you say, oh, democracy has not played out its course when somebody left a party and crossed to another party? Do you know what they have done in Edo State? Pastor Ezeyamu was candidate of PDP in 2016. Governor Obaseki was the candidate of APC in 2016. Now they have crossed party.
They just switched over.
So what are we doing?
No, but the point there is in politics, cross-carpeting is not a crime.
Then what do you call democracy? Then why are you now saying Oshiomhole is becoming a godfather? So if it's a game of number, if Oshiomhole has higher number in terms of who determines what in the party structure, good luck to him. If Governor Obaseki is able to have his way in the PDP, good luck to him. What I want to see is that we want ordinary Edo person on the street to enjoy good governance. We want both candidates to come out and tell us what they would do. I think we should take this issue beyond, because obviously, for me, there is no difference between APC and PDP. Okay. The only thing you need to do is just try and fight for leader parties and win a ticket. And once you win the ticket, you become a candidate. It's just like a vehicle taking you to a destination. It doesn't matter the make or the model. That is what is happening in those states. So it is high time we move away from do you remember what Governor Wike said about Governor Obaseki? He said the tax collectors have called him to come. He said that one that doesn't have certificate. He came again and he said, he has certificate. Oshiomhole doesn't have certificate. We don't need all those rhetorics.
Right. Okay, let me bring Victor in here now before we go. Oh, okay.
All right, let's head straight to the papers now. And I begin with the blueprint. DG Progressives Governors Forum to APC, party tilting towards PDP's impunity, says political bullying now a major feature, seeks review of APC constitution membership. Your commitment on Edo reckless, Senate spokesman Obaseki subverting democracy. Bamidele. All right, we head straight now to the front page of the Daily Trust. Lawan Shekarau, 8 other senators sponsored no bill in 1 year. It's shameful, CSO. I'm working on one, former Kano governor, Senate president keeps silent. To the leadership newspaper, 2023 Governor Uzodimma backs Mamandaura, says merit should drive political process. Zoning died since 1999, ex-ACF scribe. And on the front page of the News Direct, mixed reactions trail CBN's exchange rate unification to 380 naira to $1. Current liquidity challenges pose threat to business, LCCI, or oil marketers struggling to access foreign exchange movement. Right to the front page of the Daily Times now, manufacturers yet to access CBN's 1 trillion naira intervention loan. And on the front page of the National Economy, surging metal prices, brighting outlook for Nigeria's earnings. Silver up 69%, gold 28%. Sector can compete favorably with oil. And finally, on the front page of the Business AM, COVID-19 to force federal government's hand to change economic policy direction towards full-blown deregulation, properly targeted social investment. All right, we will be looking at developments coming up from Edo State. We have been seeing some back and forth leading up to the September the 19th polls, governorship polls, I must say. And Victor, hi, I'm certain you have been following developments in Edo State. A lot of Nigerians are concerned, saying that over 20 years of democracy, yet this is what we see when it comes to having elections in Nigeria. I wonder what you make of our democracy and how much impact this is having when we say we want our democracy to thrive.
Well, what you see in Edo is what is playing out in very many states, and is a sad testament of where our democracy is at the moment. A situation where people will leave office and they will refuse to stay out of office. They want to impose and continue to rule by proxy. Now, this must not be allowed. We have seen a situation where a sitting governor was frustrated, out of a party, because a former governor obviously does not want him to to remain in office. And this must not be allowed to happen. And but I'm happy that the governor was able to stand up to him and it moved to another party. He has been accepted. What has stood in his favor has been the work that he has been able to do, which is why I would say to anybody in government, because after all, a lot of parties are just platforms. If you're given a job to do the best that you can. And that is what has the incumbent governor at the moment, and he has gained a lot of acceptance from the people of Edo, who are standing solidly by him and giving him every support and saying no to a situation where a former governor will want to continue to impose his will and weigh on the people. And
does that lend credence to statements being made, like we see on the front pages of the paper this morning, asking for a review, perhaps, of the party's constitution? That's talking about the APC.
Yeah, I think so. Because, you see, while I agree with the issue of party supremacy, it should not be extended. I mean, that should be taken in context and not extended to ridiculous levels, such as we have seen, in recent times, especially in Edo State. Where a situation where if you fall out of favor, then, I mean, if somebody doesn't like your face, then they will fight you by all means. That should not happen at all. There needs to be a review of the Constitution in such a way that the people will have their say, not an individual from somewhere trying to impose his will on the people or trying to force, unilaterally take decisions, against the will of the people.
All right, let's bring it to the studio now, talking about the people having a say. Democracy, as we say, the definition is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And we see that over the years, with the kind of campaigns that we see, it seems to be swaying the people in different directions. They no longer seem to have a say in what goes on who they want. I wonder what you make of this. They
do. If they don't, I am sure what is playing out in Edo will not play out. And if people determines what happens, and that was what gives His Excellency Governor Godwin Obaseki the right to choose another platform to test his how popular he is among his Edo people. But again, let's say this, and I always say this, that the truth will always stand test of time. This is not a situation whereby a godfather or a ex-governor is trying to lord himself over the states. That's not the situation? At all. I always laugh when we always put emotions and sentiments while discussing political discourse. We borrowed this kind of system of governance from America. And you recall vividly that since President Trump has taken over the reins in America, President Obama, he has always been going against the policy of President Obama. And you recall that Vice President Joe Biden, who is the current presidential hopeful for the Democrat, happens to be the vice president under President Obama. And President Obama has been campaigning every day. So you ask yourself, is President Obama also a godfather in American politics? We don't need to bring emotions when it comes to politics. Politics is a game of numbers. So what is the true picture? The true picture is simple. The governor wants things this way. The party element, including Mr. Adams Oshomole, wanted to run the other way. So everybody will need to test their power. So you ask yourself, is it only APC and PDP that is available in Edo State? If, let us say, for sake of democracy and for sake of good governance, if Pastor Ozeyamo has swapped APC for PDP and Governor Obaseki has swapped APC for PDP, then we still have about 16 other political parties available. Why are people not canvassing for them? So what I'm saying in essence is that should not be about a godfather or a godmother or a godson. It's about governance. It's about democracy. And that is the beauty of democracy. It's a game of number. So if you have the number by your side, you recall vividly, His Excellency, the governor of Edo State, sworn in 14 members of the parliament, and they were running the state. It's a game of number. And the 14 other people decided to stay away, 10 to 14, and all of a sudden, they formed 7 to 7. It's a game of number. And if tomorrow, let me shock you, the only thing that is difference between, you can look at what happened to Dogara. Dogara left APC PDP. He became honorable member, he ported back to APC. So we should not allow politicians to continue to bamboozle.
Isn't that having its impact? We are talking about governance here. Isn't that having its impact on governance? It's
even good on governance because it is easy for people that are in APC to know the undoings of the current governor. And it's possible for people that are in PDP to know what are the errors on the part of Pastor Osado Yamu. And it allows electorate who has the power to determine who rules them to know what they are going for. If they don't have this clash, we will not have that somebody pour acid or somebody did not have a 3 credit. We don't have all these information. If you don't get all this information,
what do we do with that information at the end of the day?
What we do with it is
especially
that
for the people.
Until the power of voters begin to count, until people begin to know that 4 years is too much for you to sell your mind, until people begin to vote for what is right. It is neither APC or not PDP, but it's about the people themselves.
All right.
So we should continue to educate people to know that the power to determine who rules them depends on them, not the political gladiators or the actors.
All right, Victor, your final word on this issue before we let you go.
Well, my final word is simply this, that the people should have their say, and government at the federal level especially must ensure that Edo politics, that there is no interference whatsoever, and that the people be allowed to vote, no intimidation whatsoever by security forces, and in the end, let the people's will prevail and be seen to have prevailed.
All right, let the people's will prevail. Your final word before we go.
I'll keep saying it. Politics or politicians, governance or people in government. Let the governor govern, let the politician play their politics, and let the electorate use their PVC to determine who becomes the next governor of Edo State, who becomes the occupant of Osadebe House in Benin City.
All right, Obani Akinwale, Victor, hi, gentlemen, thank you for your time on the newspaper review this morning.